I've also noticed the matriarch is very tolerant of November. Hello, little one. You happy to see Mom? You hungry? Has Mom been out all day? Can see how firm that bond is between mother and cub. There's such a childlike excitement at seeing Mommy. Probably because Mommy is going to provide a meal. That also helps. Come on, Mom. I'm hungry now. Stop sniffing. I want some love and some food. And I must admit, I've always got to be careful of this, but I think I have a really soft spot for November. It's the youngest hyena cub I've ever heard doing the hyena contact call. Oh, hello, December. One of the Decembers. And I must say, they are certainly pungent today, hey, Brian? This dense site is really starting to build up the characteristic hyena odor. Possibly that interesting behavior of urinating at the entrance to the den, which personally is a first for me. I've never seen that, and it's happened a few times now. I didn't realize that they did that. Come on, Mommy. Oh. Cute. Oh, here's June. That's where June was hiding. Fast asleep in the den. I'm going to move forward so you've got a better view. In theory, I'm going to move forward so you've got a better view. Yay, Rusty works. Rusty's immobilizer doesn't act as a jamming device anymore. Oh, a whole big bundle of greetings happening there. June coming to say hello. It's even woken up one of the twins that was sleeping in the front of the den. Cubs everywhere getting underfoot. Oh, flopped. Bath time from Mom. November not very impressed, as all toddlers seem to show a certain reluctance for bath time, especially when there's more interesting things happening and the prospect of breakfast. Oh, okay, Mom, if you insist. I'll distract myself by chewing on a tambuerti tree. Shame. And D1 and D2, the two little ones that have popped out as well, waiting to see if maybe their mom had arrived as well, so that they can have breakfast. And unfortunately, at the moment, it's just pretty. So yes, I think that sub-adult that was fast asleep when we very first arrived, I'm fairly certain was one of the twins from last year, February. And I know many of our regular viewers have picked up on the fact that we've only seen one of them for quite a long time. Still no sign of June's mother either. I haven't seen her. We'll have to wait and see. Here we go. Breakfast. Shame. And D1 and D2 are so ravenous that they're willing to give it a go. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to work. Hyena moms don't allo suckle. They might get a sniff and a lick. That's it. So that's why the two littlest ones that you can see in your screen, or behind June, D1 and D2, are from a different mother. Their mother is Corky and she's not here. November is showing June off to try and suckle. Shame. Poor June, I don't know, that little, or the biggest cub that's standing in that particular collection, that's almost on the verge of being a sub-adult, but still fluffy enough that I would consider a cub. Her mom hasn't been around for quite a long time. Not that we've seen. That doesn't mean that she hasn't been, though. We just haven't seen her. There we go. November's found her place. Settled down for a nice long breakfast. Mom quite literally providing her with the best possible start to the day in terms of breakfast, because they have the most nutritious milk of any mammal out here. Highly protein rich. Can't quite get the comfortable position we'd like to have. June having a sniff around pretty. I wonder where these adults have been. So at this point, they will be out foraging. There's lots of lions on the Buffelshoek property and around the surrounding areas. But we've actually discussed the possibility that the clan is now actively hunting, just due to the fact that within their core home range, there haven't been that many lion kills recently. So they've probably got to the point where they are hunting, and there's lots of small antelope species, or small antelope like baby wildebeest and baby zebra, that are ideal hunting targets for them. Look how spotty you're getting. Next time somebody asks you when a spotted hyena cub gets its spots, well, we're sitting in the middle of January. These guys were born early December, so you've got about a month and a half before the spots start to show through. Now, as it happens, D1 and D2, so this little brown cub that you're looking at, or those two little brown cubs you're now looking at, thank you, that was well timed, have been usurped as the cutest, or at least the youngest, hyena cubs at this particular den. And Brian, you were wondering how young the youngest cubs are, or when they were born. Brian, I guessed at about 2 weeks of age. I think that when James first found this hyena den at Mvubu Road, and he had that female calling at the entrance to the den, I think that is when they were born. I suspect they're probably the tiniest hyena cubs I've personally seen. So they are very, very young. They're still incredibly wobbly. It's a guess from my side, and obviously we can only speak from when James found this hyena den. But I would guess at two weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Oh. November now whining at the loss of breakfast. I've actually seen hyena cubs throw proper tantrums when this happens, so it could be entertaining to watch.
3 more balls position.
Can see that grimace. There's an official term for the begging sound that they make. I think it's called squeeing or something like that. And Vicky, who's watching in Arizona, you might have been watching on Big Cat Week and you wanted to know if this is the same clan that was on when the show was on television in the States. And yes, Vicky, it is. So that little cub that's squealing at the loss of milk, that was the little cub that we were watching in November last year, when it was still just a little back bundle of fur. We have since discovered another set of cubs that we have nicknamed D1 and D2. They were born in early December, and now, just over the last few days, we've also got a brand new set of cubs that have started coming out. So it's the same clan, we're just at a different den. We got to the point at the Galago shortcut den, and I've mentioned it before, it became very, very smelly there, smell of decay. I suspect that there is a possibility that a cub died in one of those tunnels, just by the fact that the smell very strongly emanated from one of the tunnels. I don't know that for sure, but that is definitely why they moved, was the smell of decaying. Something had died in there. Of course, we've got to know these females very well. I'm just trying to see. I think I might just go backwards so we can get another view of the matriarch while I answer this question. So, Brazos, yeah, you were wondering, or you were saying you wish that we could know more about the fathers of these hyena cubs. Just wanted to see if maybe the little ones are going to make an appearance now that the matriarch has moved. And the two sub-adults cuddling together there on the right. I think it's June and one other, can't tell which one. So the male hyena is always the fascinating aspect of this society because, of course, they take a very, very subservient role. What's interesting, of course, to watch is Bella, because Bella is the son, and as far as we can tell, it is a male. Bella is the son of the matriarch, and as we know, hyena cubs inherit their mother's status. So it's the one example of where a male can actually not always be totally subservient. And I suspect that if Bella were the cub of a sub-ranking female, or a lower-ranking female, I think we wouldn't be seeing Bella anymore. It's only the fact that Mom is high-ranking that has kept Bella hanging around the den site. He's now old enough, especially now that she's got new cubs, he's now old enough to actually go wandering off on his own. And that's essentially what male hyenas do. There's a combination within clans of natal males, so males born into the clan, and then clan males as well, that spend their lives being exceptionally submissive and trying to be accepted into the clan in order to have mating opportunities. But most of the mating is done by nomadic males. And the study I read, I think it falls in the region of about 97%. So that's a very, very high total. That was in a different area. I think it was around Eastern Africa. So it might be slightly different in the low veld. You're in a different ecosystem, different set of circumstances. And I think probably it's a slightly lower percentage. But essentially 97% of babies fathered in that study were fathered by nomadic males. So males that wander around, covering huge distances without any kind of home base, and essentially just look for females to approach, which they do very carefully. Hello, girl. I love spotted hyenas, but I wouldn't say that she's the most beautiful hyena I've ever seen. There's a bulkiness to her. Still responsible for the safety of this entire clan. I've spoken before about the fact that I struggle to identify the individuals, and that struggle is going to get more and more intense the more hyenas we start to see at this den site. We've got another 2 cubs to get to know, and it's going to start to get really confusing when the 3 litters of cubs that we've got here hit about the 8-month mark, where they all start to look the same. And their aging, or their growth slows, not their aging can't slow down, their growth slows down ever so slightly, and you start to get them equalizing. We're going to struggle. Or I'm going to struggle personally, because when you're sitting in a sighting, it's very difficult to recognize straight away individual spot patterns, although maybe I'll at that point have got to know them so well I won't. I'm certain I'll make mistakes though. And Rosanna, you were wondering if there's any way to tag them for easier identification purposes. Yes, there is. There's a couple of different methods that you could use and researchers may well use in certain areas, and that's, for example, to dart them and to notch their ears, and you get certain patterns of notches. So there's set positions to put different notches in, whether it's on the top of the right ear, top of the left ear, and that all gets a unique numbering system, or you can tag them. And personally, I think it's nice to just have them this way, even if it does mean that we struggle. It's also quite a costly and quite an invasive process, so unless you're getting real important and essential research information out of a tagging process like that, I don't know that it's it's definitely not ideal, and you certainly don't want to come into a wild situation and then see bright coloured tags all over the place, although I don't think once it's done, it would do them any kind of damage. So essential for research, although researchers that I know generally favour using ID kits, so carrying folders full of pictures of the different hyenas. But we could, it's a possibility. I mean, we won't certainly, WildEarth certainly won't be tagging them, but that people do it. And Jenny M, since we've got such a peaceful, sweet scene here, he was saying that you can't believe how much you love the hyenas, and that November has stolen your heart, with the twins coming in as a close second. Hyenas are my favorite predator, hands down. They're always busy. Well, not always, as you can clearly see, but they've always got something going on. And there is an intelligence to their expression, which science has actually proved is there. They've got incredible problem-solving abilities. Everybody loves baby animals, but it's the characters that they develop as they start to get older that really impress me. And this matriarch, I'm sure, has plenty of stories to tell. Every scar on those ears is a different story and a different argument, and they play by different rules. They're governed by their own rules, and we don't always understand exactly what's going on within their dynamics. And Barbara, you wanted to know, and I must say I love this den site. I think it's beautiful. You wanted to know how large this den site is. It's a huge termite mound. I think it's probably one of their biggest den sites to date. It's got two main entrances. The one where the matriarch is lying, and then I've put Brian in a sort of an awkward position. He doesn't have the best view of the den, but if I move forward, show you a little bit of the rest of it. So it's absolutely enormous. I mean, you can see it when in perspective in relation to the hyenas that are lying at it. And there's one entrance den to the left of where the matriarch is lying, where Pretty is lying. There's probably more tunnels and more entrances to that den. And it's all peaceful here, but apparently Scott has found you another hyena to look at. So let's go find out which one it is.
Now, if any of you are fast enough to be able to identify this hyena... Oh, two hyena. Not just one. Interesting stuff. And it would be really wonderful to know if they are members of the same clan that you are busy watching with Jamie. Tricky to tell just from this quick glimpse, but let's see if we can't get you another view of them. They've just crossed into Djuma over our southern boundary. We're also quite close to our eastern boundary, so the southeastern corner of Djuma. And I'm hoping we're going to be able to get you some more views of them. We should be able to. We are heading towards the Mulwati riverbed, which we will certainly be able to see them crossing shortly, just in this little dip ahead of us. I'm just going to coast alongside them for now. Let's actually try and get them on Ledwood Road here. Hello to Brian Jurgensen, who would like to know, where do the male hyenas hang out if not at the den sites? Here one comes. Take some screenshots. They'll be hugely helpful in trying to identify them. But I'm sure all the professional ideas have already done that. But for any of you wanting to get involved in identifying the different animals, it's very good to take screenshots and build up a portfolio of the different animals. Sorry, Brian. And you would like to know where the male hyena will hang out. And I guess just in and around den sites, they will frequent the den sites to keep up relations with the ladies. And they maybe just stop in very briefly and then head off and stay nearby, sleep in a riverbed, as actually will often be the case with even a lot of the females. Once they've fed their young and done all the formalities at the den site, they often move off and go and sleep in the shade nearby, out of the way of the youngsters that can often pester them throughout the day wanting to play. Now, I'm just going to slip into the Mulwati riverbed, and we should get to see these hyena crossing again. Hopefully we'll be able to get a better view of the one that was in front. We have some waterbuck on the left. Too sure where to wait, but I think this might be a decent spot where we'll not miss them going behind us and also be able to catch them if they do pass by in front. The waterbuck here may also help us, as if they see these hyena, they're going to just double check and make sure that it's not a leopard or a lion. At first glance, they obviously may look quite similar. Characteristic white ring on their bottom, making them very easy to distinguish from the other antelope. They've also got quite shaggy coats, the waterbuck. Not shaggy, but long hair, rather. Probably a better description. Let's move forward a bit. I fear these hyena may be a little bit up ahead now. They should have popped out by now, had they've carried along, unless, of course, they've found a leopard and its kill nearby and are waiting patiently to snack on it, but I don't think that's the case. To Chris in Arizona, and Chris is interested to know whether D1 and D2, the two small twins, two cubs at the hyena den, would have walked to the den site after it was moved and relocated, or whether or not they would have been carried. And I'm guessing that there's a chance that they would have been carried, but I've never actually seen hyenas being transported between dens, so I can't give you a very accurate and conclusive decision. And even if I had of, one hyena's behavior may differ from another's. No different to us as humans. Oh, I just saw a zebra come running down towards us. Got excited, I thought it might have been something else. Just up ahead here. Where on earth have these hyena gone? Imagine we find another den site somewhere here. That'll be really exciting. And I've just got a glimpse of the zebra. Oh, this one's really hoofing it. And I wonder what all this excitement's about. Sure. A good display of their speed. And great work on camera by VM. Now, usually if they're alarmed, they'll let off their alarm call, which is a... So so I don't think they're being chased by anything, but let's just go out there and double check what's caused them to run. Obviously there's all these impala around as well, and they would also join in the chorus of alarm calls had they have found something. I'm flummoxed by these hyena. I really thought we were going to get another view of them. Let's hang around this area and maybe they'll pop up. I'm like